Cam Thomas being just waived right at the deadline is insane to me.
I love Laguna for saying that. That's one of the things that I'm a huge advocate for.
Yeah,
Great team on paper.
The great team on paper.
There's a hot take from
That is
Michael
a hot
Steiner.
take.
Next time I see you, I want to take a picture with you because I find you're a famous guy. I want you.
I was told practice what you preach, Dougie. What's up, everybody? Today is June 29th, 2026, and we have a special guest, a returning guest on the live stream today. It is Daniel Placko. Daniel, how are you today?
Good. How are you? What is this, year 3? I think we're in.
Yeah, year 3.
Yep. Same story as we'll talk about.
Same story as 2 years ago. So, different episode, but the same conversation. So,
absolutely.
Let's start with the same thing. The biggest disappointments from 2025.
You want to start or you want me to start?
Let's say, okay. I feel like they're too small. I feel like I'm repeating myself. So last year when I watched them play, it feels like when the team has like a 1-0 or 2-0 lead, it seems like we fall apart fast. Like the game is over. Like already, it's like I feel like they can't fight. They give up. Like I don't know if that's from coaching. I don't know if that's from the guys in the room. I just feel like once they're down, they're down.
I think the game seemed too big for them, and I'm talking a game in February on a Wednesday night versus Winnipeg. It did not matter what the circumstances were. You could not motivate this team worth of anything, is how I felt. Going in, and I think it was summarized best in April on that Tuesday night when they had a chance to take down Philly and cause absolute chaos in that wild card, and they absolutely folded. And
5-1, right?
I don't remember the exact score, so you're probably right. I will never forget turning to Brittany and saying, "We can go whenever you want," and during the second intermission saying, "I'm ready to go home." And I think that was the summary of the Devils season was, "I'm ready to go home." And I think the players were ready to go home.
I think so too.
So I think the game just seemed too big for them. The spotlight was too big every single game. It did not matter what the circumstances were. And I think this was the first time in the 3 years we've been doing this where you could say that. They had certain aspects that they could have done better in the past, but this was definitely the icing on the cake of this team was ready to go home.
So is it like a leadership problem? Does it start with Nico? Because he is the captain.
I don't know if it starts with Nico, but it definitely starts from the top. And I think that change in general manager should have been done a long time ago. I think that what saved his job was that Carolina playoff appearance, if that's what we want to call it, 2 years ago.
The play-in.
Yeah, basically. Where we're still riding that high of that Simo Nemec double overtime winner. But I think it started from that. Is had they not even made the playoffs, maybe we'd be looking at last year differently. But
possible.
It's definitely a league where it's a recency bias. So that's why I think they kept him, and I think that hurt us going into last year. So I think starting with leadership, to answer your question, absolutely, but I think it's above the roster, and I think Sonny's going to take it into a better direction because he's been in a winning culture with Florida.
Yeah, he has. They've built a winner there. They've won 2 Stanley Cups. And off topic, but that's what I've been saying with the New York Mets. It starts from the top. So, yeah, I think it does start with the top. It does start with Fitzy. It starts with front office being held accountable. Because I look at last year, it feels like you're watching Markstrom, you're watching Allen. They look lost out there. And, like, that's a disappointment for me, having 2 goalies over 35.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be fixed with was it Yurgov? I still say his name wrong.
Yeah, Yegor.
I will wait to hear it pronounced before I keep butchering it. But definitely coming from him in that, coming from Boston College and providing a little bit of optimism in that position, I think it's going to come down to riding it out until he's game ready, or I should say NHL ready. I do agree with you. I think having two 35-year-old goaltenders is not a winning concept, but it's also not far-fetched to say that you can win with a mediocre goaltender. And I think Carolina showed it this year. You had two goalies that were very subpar or average. I don't know what word you would use, but definitely they were not Vezina Trophy winners.
Oh, yeah, they weren't the best of the best.
So it's proven you could win with a mediocre goaltending. It's the 20 or the 21 other guys on the roster that really need to buy in. And I think if the goaltending is definitely a problem, but have they fixed the other things that we're going to talk about in a little bit? I'm not going to be completely upset if we go into this next season with the same two goaltenders.
Yeah, neither will I. But, I just want to make sure we have our future set because other teams have their guy. So it's what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think that other guy or our guy per se can be in other positions.
Yeah, so it's just weird. Even too, it seems like when Jack Hughes gets hurt, the team falls apart. It's hard to believe we had an 8-game winning streak last year. I was high off I was like, yo, we're gonna go to the playoffs this year just to say bye-bye.
Well, I looked into it, and we were 14-1 to win the Stanley Cup going into last season. 14-1 odds. I think we were third or fourth best in the Eastern Conference, and we didn't even sniff the playoffs. We weren't even one of the top 8. So I think I would have loved to know the live odds after that 8-game winning streak. I'm sure we were about 9-1 or 8-1 at that point. But I think that just goes to show you that it's a long season. And I was distant at the time because I was overseas in Europe. So I think my first thought was maybe I should never come home and this team will win a Stanley Cup. But it was hard for me to see exactly what that looked like. But I'm sure from your perspective, it was, we're riding high. We might never lose it again.
Yeah, because we beat the Oilers, we beat the Panthers, we were beating the contenders. And then it's like Jack Hughes goes down and the team fell apart. And I don't know why.
I feel like I've heard that before. Was that last year or was that the year before?
I think it's every year. It's every year. Every episode we do.
As far as that aspect, that tells me, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, it's the depth on that forward. I think, I don't want to foreshadow too much, but the depth on that third line and that fourth line need to be better. And I thought we addressed it last year with a couple free agent signings. I thought Dadonov, I thought Connor Brown, I thought all of those guys would help address that depth issue. And I am still waiting for Dadonov to still score his second goal of the year.
Yeah. Oh, that guy. The guy from Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. That guy.
That's bad.
I think my season tickets were contributing to his salary this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I got to go with the goaltending. Defense is inconsistent. Brendan Dillon looks like he never played a hockey game in his life. I feel like we have so many holes. It's what is Sonny going to do?
I agree. And I think I speak on our fan base's behalf when it comes down to we need to be patient because he took over this mess of what I view as a mess.
No, it is.
I think we need to be patient. It's not going to be fixed over the course of this year. But to me, a winning season, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit, but a winning season for next year says, hey, we finished top 4 in the Metropolitan. Now, that should say playoffs, but who knows? Maybe 2 playoff teams come out of the or 3 playoff teams come out of the Atlantic Division. But I think top 4 in the Metropolitan Division says, all right, we're a step in the next direction.
Yeah, I honestly agree with that. It should be at least top 4.
Yes.
Because Pittsburgh's going to fall off. You don't know what you're going to get with Philly, the Islanders, the Rangers. We should at least finish top 4 in that division.
Yes. And I think that says a step in the right direction because it says, hey, we were sniffing in the hunt. with a roster under Sonny. It's always
Yeah.
sunny in Newark. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's always sunny in Newark. So everyone knows how I feel about this whole situation within Mendoza. And it's kind of reminded me of how everyone is trying to throw Sheldon Keefe under the bus. So how patient are we going to be as an organization with Sheldon Keefe and understand he's working with what he has?
I think it goes back to what I just said of we have to be patient as far as it's not going to be fixed overnight. I mean, we had 42 wins last year. We had 87 points. I don't think we're a head coach away, meaning I don't think if we got rid of him, we're taking a step in the next direction. I don't think another coach is coming in winning 48 games or 49 games. So
yeah, I don't see it.
I think we stick with who we have. I think, again, we have to be patient, and we have to realize that this guy has now had he came into a new roster when he got hired. Now he's got a new guy as a boss, and he's got to try to come in with Sonny's coming in with a new regime, and he has to be understanding of it. So
yeah.
I think if they were to, in any way, shape, or form, get rid of Sheldon Keefe this year, you're adding another 3 years to this plan.
I agree with that, because if we think about the Florida Panthers, they had that President Trophies winning season, and I think I picked them to go to the final that year. But they lost, I think, they might have lost to Tampa in the second round. Then the year after that, I think they missed the playoffs completely. So it was President's Trophy, missed the playoffs. Then they went to the final, lost against Vegas. They had that tough Game 5, losing 9-3. Then they went to the final the following year, and the year after that, and won 2 Stanley Cups. So it's like this could be a 4 to 5 year window. I don't know.
I think when we look at the age of this roster, obviously no one's getting younger. But we have to it's not win now, it's win soon.
Win soon.
It's win soon. And that's where the patience has to overlap with the age of our players. Because we already tried this rebuild. And I think we're in what, year 9 of this rebuild now? Year 10 of this rebuild? And
we've been rebuilding since like 13, 14.
So we have to be smart about the moves we make, or I should say they have to be smart about the moves they make, but also reminding themselves of the ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup. Because I know it's a different sport, but if we look at the Philadelphia 76ers trusting the process, they're still trusting the process, and it's gotten them nowhere further than the second round. So it's important to remind yourself of what the ultimate goal is, to win that Stanley Cup, or at least be in one of the top 2 teams to compete for that Stanley Cup, and be comfortable with progress, but not being comfortable with the result unless it is hoisting the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, because 22-23, when we beat the Rangers, I was like, oh, yeah, this is our year. Then we lost to Carolina, which is not surprising. Then I look at the year after that, and I remember being at work. I'm like, yo, we're going to win the Cup this year. Just because I was still on that high of beating the Rangers.
You've said that every year for the 5 years we've worked together.
and we
every year.
No, I know, but I felt like that. And then we missed the playoffs. Like, I want to at least see like a conference finals appearance. I'm not trying to lose to the Carolina Hurricanes again in the second round. I want to see that next step.
So I think that should be our next discussion is, how do we beat Carolina? Because guess what? They are now the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
Which is good that they have the target on their back, but we have not beaten that team in over a year.
Yeah.
And for those unaware, we played them 4 times this year. So it's not a issue of seeing them. Thoughts on that? How do we beat Carolina? We got a Carolina issue.
Yeah, we do. I look at the Hurricanes, and they have size and they have depth. They're not the best players, but they have depth. Like, you look at Taylor Hall and the impact he made on that team. He was like second, third liner.
Who drafted Taylor Hall? I forgot.
The Edmonton Oilers.
Oh yeah, where did he go after that?
The New Jersey Devils.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was a long time ago. It slipped my mind.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Today happens to be the day we traded for him, like 10 years ago.
Is it actually? Is that why?
Yeah.
That's why we picked today then.
Just to ship him off to Arizona, which we got Darson Mercer for it, but he hasn't even stepped up his game. But like we need like that size and depth. Taylor Hall was playing first line minutes on our team, and we couldn't go anywhere. So it's like there's so many question marks for that third and fourth line. Like Connor Brown should not be playing first, second line minutes. He's like a third, fourth line guy. So it's like if he was on the Hurricanes, he'd be a great third liner. So it's like we need more depth. I'm not trying to watch Lenny Hamalulo or who else played on the third line this year.
Hamiko. I can't say his name. There's Bujstad.
Or the guy we traded for Andre Palat, and then we shipped him off to Calgary.
Yep. I mean, I agree with you. The Lamico, that's it. Sorry. I was saying Hamiko. Lamico. I mean, I know Dennis Cholowski's a defenseman, but really didn't want to see him on the ice. I mean, it comes down to, like you said, the depth. I have no issue with Connor Brown playing second line, but
neither do I. But
we need to get someone to fill in that spot, because when he was signed, it was definitely as, hey, you're going to be a third liner, not, hey, you're going to be one of the best players with Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. I don't think that was on the agenda.
That wasn't the plan.
Yeah,
that wasn't the plan at all.
I agree with you on that aspect. That needs to be addressed. Keeping him on that second line. I mean, if they touch that line this year, my season tickets will be up for auction because I will lose it. I mean, they had some of the best plays were on that. What was it? PB&J? Is that what they called it?
Something like that.
Brown, Hughes, and Jesper Bratt.
Yeah, I think, PB&J.
Yep. So,
well, they may be up for auction, but those buybacks are going to go down.
Absolutely. For those that don't know, they cut back on their buybacks this year. What a coincidence. We didn't make the playoffs.
So what are we thinking about the free agency list?
I think there are a lot of good decisions we can make. And I think, unfortunately, we are a little handcuffed with that salary cap. But, I mean, even a guy like Corey Perry can bring a winning culture into the locker room. And I think that's what they were trying to get with guys like Luke Glendening.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, see, exactly. I'm trying to be serious, and I can't even keep you serious.
I forgot about Luke Glendening.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do, is try to bring in that winning culture, or at least that experience culture of saying, hey, when it comes to April and we are supposedly in the playoffs, these are the type of guys that we want in the locker room. So I think a guy like Corey Perry, I mean, depending on how much the asking price is, could be a very vital aspect. He's going to retire tomorrow. Watch. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I'm looking it up. Hold
on. But, a guy like that, even Nyquist, Gustav Nyquist.
All right. He didn't retire. Okay.
Yeah. Just guys like that could bring in a culture that's like, hey, I've been in this league for a while. We can win without a guy like Jack Hughes on the ice.
Yeah. You could go after like Anders Lee, maybe a Kevin Hayes, Oliver Borkstan, maybe a Tarasenko.
I think what people got to remember is we are in the New York market, correct? We are not a New York team.
Correct.
So that selling of who you want to get, you're not going to get that big splash, unfortunately. You're going to have to make do with some of the guys that are not that, top tier. We don't unfortunately have that resources. I mean, we should, in my opinion, but we don't have the resources of, hey, you're coming to Newark, New Jersey, and you're going to be in one of the biggest cities in the world. That's not the case. You're going to be able to stare at the biggest city in the world, but you're not going to be able to, So that's where I think they have to be smart about who they're trying to go for. and not put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like who's gonna help us take that next step? Like that's my concern. Who's gonna help us take that next step?
Because even a guy like, Claude Giroux or someone like that, like, yeah, they're a little bit on the past their prime stage, but you have a guy like Claude Giroux could very well say, hey, I'm going to stick up for my guys when it gets physical.
Yeah.
You could say that about a couple of the guys. I mean, Eric Hall was always one to stick up for his guys. If someone had a hard hit on one of his teammates, he's going to hit him back. And he's the biggest of guys.
Yeah, like you could look at Nick Foligno. I'd take him on my third, fourth line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we missed out on Brady Tkachuk, but
that might be a next year conversation because
the
man loves Jersey, but unfortunately, obviously, he's not quite on the market yet.
Yeah, he's in Florida, tax-free state. So we have a question from a fan. He wants to know who will need to have the better offseason, Devils, Rangers, or Islanders. Well, I'm saying the Devils.
Well, I think if we're being honest about no recency bias, it definitely has to be the Rangers. Because just going off what I was saying with that market, I know hockey is the fourth biggest sport in New York, but also people are not immune or not able to see that they had a terrible year.
I'd even say the Islanders because they had that playoff spot almost 90% of the year, and they missed it. So I could say the Islanders too.
I think I'm going to say Rangers though, just because they made a full 180. We want to talk about lapses. That was supposed to be a win now team that just absolutely and we're not a Rangers podcast by any means, but trust me, being that New York market and being so close, it brought great joy to me to hear that program that organization just absolutely collapse.
Yeah, that was great for me. I mean, I traded Knicks championship to see the Rangers never win the cup, so I can't complain about that.
Oh, is that coming from a Cavs fan?
No, but I'm just saying, if I had to deal with Madison Square Garden being loud and obnoxious, I'd rather it be from the Knicks fans. I do not want to see the Rangers hoist the Stanley Cup and deal with that fan base all summer long for the rest of my life.
I'll even go on to say, iron sharpens iron. When the Rangers are better, I think it's better for the Devils. You could put that on a quote board for all I care. But I think you saw this year. I mean, the rivalry just wasn't there. It was basically two people slapping each other, being like, "No, we're worse. No, we're worse." It was just it didn't have the flavor of that Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs a couple years ago, where you were in. I mean, I could personally relate. I was in Rangers fans going back and forth, a couple feet away from each other. It was the passion was there.
It was intense.
It's the Rangers or the Devils are better when the Rangers are better. And I don't mean that as like a little brother standpoint. I mean it as hey, iron sharpens iron.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Like the two Devil Ranger games I was at all of them. First one they beat us. I mean, the last one they beat us was like 4-1. The game was over. But the games where we beat them, it was 6-3, and then it was 6-3 at the Garden. Like it was great being loud and obnoxious. But the game was like over. It was like not competitive to the end. Like, all right, it's 5-3. Jack Hughes got the hat trick, but I want this game to go down to the wire in like overtime. Like, I want that competitiveness. But
so to answer your question, John, it's the Rangers. Come on, Doug, stay on task here.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Where's my? All right, so let's see. 26, 27. Are we going to be a playoff team again? And do my tickets get raised?
Well, the second part, yes. That's an absolute guarantee. I think, please don't make this a quote, but it can't get any worse, can it?
It can't get any worse.
And I know someone at home right now is going, "Oh, Dan, you have no idea." I'm going into this season saying it can't get any worse. So if we finish with 42 wins next year, Yeah, it would kind of stink because, I like to watch playoff hockey.
Me too.
But, it's comes down to we were level with where we were. I think we need to, as dumb as this sounds, and I'm a guy full of dumb ideas, they got to learn how to just get a point. And I think you said earlier about that going down by a goal.
We had like 3 overtime losses.
Yeah. If we could have doubled that, I don't think we would have made the playoffs, but even if we, had lost a couple more games in overtime, you go, okay, we lost, but we got a point. And that's what I think, as a hockey fan, I think it separates the people that know the game and don't. A point in November against the Dallas Stars is huge.
Look at Vegas and LA.
Yeah. A point versus not even your division opponent says, hey, we got the point and they got the point, and who cares what they do with their point, but we got that point. Now, obviously end of the year, you want to win as many games as possible, but I think they need to learn how to lose, but at least get to overtime. I guess they learn how to lose, period. Because guess what? You lose in overtime, that's a good loss.
Yeah, it is. I want that point.
37 of those meant nothing this year. But at least the other, we could have made a few of those mean something.
Yeah, at least get into that playoff position, and whatever happens from there, hey, you never know. Look at Vegas. At least we got there, and then we could build off of it.
So, yeah, I think going back to what you were saying, I think comes down to getting a couple points here and there, hopefully winning 42 games, and putting us in a similar or better spot than we were this past April. Because it felt like every time I said, can this team just finish it off? Like, I was so sick of watching them by the end of March and April that I knew how this movie ended, but I couldn't shut the movie off.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that spot again. I think a 26-27 success looks, hey, I don't want to be in this spot again.
Me too. So you know how I like to do my karaoke, and I have my catalog, right?
They call you the karaoke king, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they call me the karaoke king. Like, I have my catalog. I know my songs by heart. I hate that I know No Surrender by heart. Like, every time, because I hear it every single game I go to. Yeah, we busted out of class. I want to hear a different song. I want to hear Glory Days. I don't want to hear No Surrender.
That's fair.
Like, let me leave the rock with Glory Days or Hip Hop Hooray. Every time I hear No Surrender, now I know the words by heart. It's like, okay, it's going to be the same story next game. We're going to lose. There's no momentum. So they need to just take the next step. Show promise. Show there's a young future. Like, look at your New York Knicks. You waited 53 years for a title, but you took the next step. You made the playoffs year in, year out. You might have lost in the first round. Then you lost in the second round. Then you lost in the conference final. Then you got to the final. I want to see a playoff appearance year in and year out. That's all I want.
I agree with you. Consistency. The dark days should be over by now.
Yeah, they should be. We've been since 2012, realistically.
It's hard to win in this league, but I agree with you. I mean, you remember the late 2000s, early 2010s Devils that were making the playoffs every year. They weren't lighting the world on fire, but it was like almost like chalk that you could chalk in that they were going to be one of the top 8 teams. I mean, I know the format was differently. They were going to be one of the top 8 teams in the East.
Yeah. Like growing up, I knew, okay, we're going to be a playoff team. We may not win the cup, but I know we're making the playoffs. Like when Brodeur got injured in 2009, I was like, oh, great, we're not going to be a playoff team this year. Now it's like, oh, here comes Jack Hughes getting hurt. Oh, season's over. Like, I already know the outcome.
Yeah, that's got to change for that 26-27 season.
Yeah, at least show promise. Show you're taking the next step. Because no matter what, those prices just got to go up.
That could be a whole nother podcast.
It could be.
I don't want to get banned by the Devils, though. We'll hold off on that one.
Yeah, neither do I. I
love the prices. I love everything about the organization.
Yeah, they're great. Thanks for the buybacks. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I want. I want to see promise. So if I could have a prediction before we end this, How many wins, and what do you think the final result will be?
All right. I'm going to say, and this is good because there's no schedule out yet. So I know where they're changing the format. It's going to be
84 games
now.
Yeah, 84
games. I like we're going in blindly. I think, to me, a good, successful year, and this is the exact line I want to see. I think 47 wins. I got to do my math now. 30 losses and 5 overtime losses.
Not bad. I can see it around there. I was thinking like maybe 45, 46 wins, like 46-29, and however much overtime that would be. Yeah, I want to see the points.
I think if they could get to 30 losses, no matter what the breakdown after that looks like, I think they're a playoff team.
Yeah, that's all I want to see. Even if we lose in like the second round, all right, at least make it go 7 games.
Let's get to the first round first.
The format is set up where we have to play our divisional opponents. So if we can't beat them in the regular season, I doubt we're going to beat them in the playoffs. So
now, before we go, do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, what was the record like? What was the record like? 9-17 or something?
It was horrendous. I don't remember the only teams we could beat were the Blue Jackets, the Rangers, and I think we had beaten the Islanders?
No, we got swept.
Okay. It wasn't Carolina, and we didn't beat Philly. So who am I missing?
All right, let me Capitals, did we beat?
I think
Penguins?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
But that's the first problem.
All right, 7, 17, and 2.
Yep, there you go. I can tell you I could probably tell you the 7 wins. It was Rangers, Blue Jackets, and Capitals, right?
Let's see. Yeah, that's terrible. 7 wins against your division.
So it starts, to me, going back to that, what does 26-27 look like? Let's win in our division.
All right, here we go.
Let's win at home.
We swept the Rangers 2-0. Yeah, it says 2-0 against their biggest rivals, securing 6-3 victories on March 7th and March 18th. I don't know why it says swept. We lost to them 1. But we beat the Rangers, the Blue Jackets, the Capitals, and the Penguins.
Oh, yes, that's right. We had the 1 win against the Penguins in November. Meaningful hockey in November.
Yeah, meaningful hockey. That's when they play meaningful games. But yeah, Dan, this was a new episode, but the same discussion. I'm hoping a year from now, it's a whole different subject.
I agree. I hope we're talking about what it's going to take to win next step in winning that Stanley Cup. That's what I hope the discussion is.
I'm hoping.
Or better yet, we're going live from the parade.
Yeah, we're going live from the parade.
You know what? That's the best case scenario, right?
That's the best case scenario. We're going live from the parade in Newark?
I think we had this discussion. It's probably in Newark.
I don't think so. Through Broad Street and all there?
Let's hope that's our biggest argument next year.
Let's hope that's the biggest argument.
Me and you arguing on where the parade is going to be.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the biggest argument we have. Where's the parade, Dan? That's what I want to have. All right, Dan, as always, this is a pleasure. I love talking Devils hockey, but I don't like talking about the same thing. So, Devils, please improve.
Absolutely. Always good to be on, Doug.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dan, always a pleasure. Take care, bud. See you next time.
Yes.
And enjoy those buybacks.
Malibu at the diner part of the casino.
That they're gonna slip back a little bit. Ben,
Do you ever ask yourself the question as to
for this town, things that haven't been done before?
Feel like
it's more than just Joe Biden, though. Like, it's just like people
overpay for DeGrom, and so I think this is a great way for us to gather.
I'll be looking for another job after this is over. I can tell you that.
Here, with your name behind it, hoping that.
Why did Trump fire Fauci? He could have gotten rid of him.
There's a lot of things you can have checked out.
So talk whatever we want.
It's sports. Well, I'll tell you, no matter, I don't have to worry about my feelings to understand that.